Hey there, Supered Squad. Another surge plugged in today, and you got a little behind the scenes look on Supered using Supered. Lindsay walked us through some of those use cases, how the Supered team actually uses Supered to do their job on a daily basis. And you can take those and apply those to how you're doing your job and hopefully make your life a little bit easier too. Let's plug into the surge now.
So what we're going to do today, share my screen. We will have all of this available for you in a Supered solution, which you can find on our website and in your packages in the back end. What am I sharing at this point? This thing? Can you see use case examples?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank God. That's the problem with having three screens. I always feel like I'm sharing the same one. So as Deanna said, what we are trying to do today is just walking through a couple of use cases. And we have a couple of use cases based on team, okay? Of how Supered is using Supered, how some of our clients are using Supered. And again, these are really just like easy. I wouldn't even say easy. To me, they're fantastic ways that you can really just start implementing with your clients or with your team right away and get running. Okay, so we're going to start with my favorite, which is a use case for your customer success team. I know. One thing about your customer success team, process rules are going to be super vital for your team. Okay. The reason I love process rules for a lot of reasons, but one of my favorite things is that actually takes the ability to take what you've made a report for in a dashboard and be able to then litter it across your HubSpot account. I say litter in a nice, beautiful way, I promise. And so one of the ways we use it here at Supered is in our partner activation pipeline. So our activation pipeline, we're getting you through the stages to see you're fully activated to Supered clients. But we use the data that's in our HubSpot and use process rules to have a really easy and high level view of seeing where our partners are at or where our clients are at. So this is something that you can copy for yourself. You can copy it for your clients. Every single organization has customers that need to be pushed through an activation process or to utilize your product or your services, etc. Right? So we have our three partners or three customers right now. We have our Roadrunners. They are our golden child. Look at them. They have no issues. They're on our Supered clients. They're fantastic. We have our medium rares, and then we have our laggards in technical calls. And as you can see, we've got our process rules. They look like deal tags, but they're so much better because you can have more than 10. And you can start to see at a really high level that what our issues are going on with our particular clients. Okay. Sorry, I just jumped off a call that went way over. So I'm like trying to catch my breath. Okay. So in our laggards, right, I can see at a really high level right now that our laggards, they're a churn concern. They're a churn concern. They're falling into what constitutes a churn concern for our company. And that's pulled by our data. They don't have any paying clients. Sad. They don't even have process rules with their clients. They don't even have cards with their clients. So really, these are laggard central over here. And it's really onto our customer success team to identify what's going on. Okay. When I click in even, I have more information as what's going on with our rule text. Okay. So why are they concerned? This client hasn't been in our system for more than 2 weeks. We're a system where you probably want to use daily use, every other day use, as you're building stuff out for your clients, as you're building stuff out for your internal teams. And so to see that someone hasn't been in our system for more than 2 weeks, that's what are next best steps? Okay. This company has 0 cards, right? Best next steps and more info. I can pop it up and say, hey, this is something I would work with my team about, saying, hey, best next steps, let's put a retraining in on cards. Why are they important? What updates have we done to cards that are going to make them exciting and beautiful? Share Supered solutions for an example for them, so how they can utilize cards, right? If you haven't seen our Supered solutions yet, I will show you at the end, but we're putting together resources for you to utilize right away. And then you can even share, I saw Matt pop up on, okay. Then you can even share a case study with the champion to say, hey, this is how our other partners are utilizing cards and really seeing an increase in adoption of their product, okay? So process rules are a really easy way to flag what's going on with your clients. Easy. It's a higher level way. And then it's also another way that you can start to serve best next steps to your team so that you're not jumping on a call and be like, okay, how about we try this? No, we have everything that's proven and working in a card. Just take one of them, see if it works. Okay. Questions about customer success and process rules?
None yet.
Matt is unmuted.
I have a question about this mostly because I ask these all the time and use them. Like PR, how are you getting this information inside of HubSpot? And so like, how many places do you go? What did you do before Supered? Before this occurred? I'm trying to like, hey, show the,
what did I
like,
do before?
Yeah. What did you do before you had this? Think about a laggard. Like, how would you understand somebody was a laggard? What were you doing before?
Before I was going into our backend analytics called June, I was physically typing out everyone's emails to see the last time that they were active in our system. Now we have that pushed into, now I push it into companies. But again, I would have to go through each company and pull a dashboard report or have a view and then manually have to go through and see, okay, the last time this person was in Superbird was 3 weeks ago. So a very manual process of me having to go physically look for that information. Now I have it set up. So all of this information actually pushes over to our companies. Obviously, this is a test account. Medium Rares is not any of our clients, although it should be. We're able to push this information into our backend, like all these super properties in the company level. But again, before the process rolls, I had a view in companies. I'd go through and I'd sort them, and I had to physically see who was in there when.
Received. So for the broader group, just so you'll hear this, any SaaS company will have the same problem. And what you can now do is, as a CS, is if you're able to get their product data, which is really simple, like all things considered, is actually pretty simple. It's just putting in company record data. Once you can put that in, it enables process rules. And if we show it, even enables some company views that I'm sure she'll go to later. But this is so freaking helpful because we know exactly whom we need to reach out to and who's been bad girls or boys, and not so we can proactively create people, proactively see when things are happening.
Yeah.
There you go.
And go ahead.
No, that's okay. Aaron just asked, how could a company that doesn't have information flowing in a HubSpot like this create something similar?
Oh, yeah, great question. Honestly, this is when you can start utilizing all of the HubSpot native properties. So last activity date. Oh gosh, now I'm gonna blank. Last activity is always great. Meetings, next meeting. How many touches have they had? How many website views have they had? So you can, obviously we use our personalized data for this one, but you can use the native HubSpot and get a really good look depending on what's happening. You can make these for marketing, right? You can have specific PR rules that it's like, hey, this client is currently not a lead, but they've had 25 website visits or something like that. What can we do? How can we get them into a lead? Marketing is not my forte. I don't know why I went with that example. I tried.
You did.
May I give another example?
Yes. Yes, Matt, of course.
We have a partner that will be announcing that you get, I think it's 20% off of if you use them, called Coefficient. So here's a real use case. Having built some of these solutions before, often the easiest way to get something in. So you have all these like marketing things you could do that built in. Sometimes they don't work, but what you can do is if you have to get information in, especially with service companies, you can have a input form on a Google Sheet that will automatically then go and connect to company properties. And so it'd be weekly. It's not this like real time that we have here, but there are ways to be able to get them in. My best and favorite is Coefficient, putting on a Google Sheet and put information. Just Aaron, that's one way that I've done a workaround for this. And I've built this in other ways before Superbird existed, but it was, that's just one way to do it.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Nice thing is you can add your own labels too. So Lost Momentum is another one. They haven't been in the app for 5 days. We're just wondering what's going on with them. Anyways, okay. Moving on. My next use case, we're actually going to go into something that's for your implementation or delivery team. And this is all about workflows. Okay. So there's 2 things that we're going to look at. First off, using cards to explain workflow, not example, and then to use a trigger to actually indicate the property is in a workflow itself. So when I started at Superbird, this was my biggest headache. The previous company I worked with somehow let 27 admins in, and all of the admins made just crap workflows all the time that I didn't know what they were, and they didn't use any descriptors. So one of the things I love about, and everyone's nodding, everyone's been there, understand, no naming conventions, something that's just like unnamed workflows, and there's 75 and half of them are on. Anyways, and so part of, for your delivery and implementation team, an example that you can, or what you should be doing, right, is creating a card that explains what the workflow is and how it operates and what the point is. Okay. This is very basic, but this one is just saying when a client receives their first paying customer, the Superbird integration will update this property, which it links to another card, to reflect the level of Superbird. So if 0 clients, the joke is I like pink, but not that much. If they have 1 to 6, they're map Boolean levels of awesome. And if they 6+ clients, they're a superstar. The trigger for this workflow is Superbird paid accounts, which is just a company workflow or a company property. But really, you can add so much information to this card. And what the pain we're trying to solve is people not understanding what a workflow does, because they'll see it on other parts, and we'll go through that. Not understanding what a workflow does, potentially going in and messing with it, which is the biggest fear, when really we can put a card here and just say, this is what this workflow does and how it operates. The reason I love this though, is because when that workflow name pops up in other parts of HubSpot, we can now have that level of view. So in medium rares, they went through this workflow, did they? Maybe? Was it medium rares or was it Roadrunners?
It was Roadrunners.
Thank you, Dee. We've set this up last night. Okay. So on this filter page now, I can see which workflows they have gone through. Okay. BS before Supered, right? Before Supered, there you would see this and you'd say, hey, they completed this workflow, but you'd have really no idea what that workflow does. If I click on it, if I'm not a HubSpot admin or partner and I'm just a user, if I click on it, I'm going to come into here. And quite honestly, I'm going to just be like, I don't know what I'm looking at. If I am just a user, I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at when I look here. As opposed to here, I'm now being trained to be like, oh, they're in this workflow. What did that workflow do? I can click on it and understand, hey, this is what was updated. So really your documentation about workflows, how they work, what they're triggered on, to really solve that pain. As if someone is looking through this activity filter, they can understand really quickly to say, okay, they went through this workflow. This is what this workflow did. This is probably not where my issue is, etc. On the flip side, this is where we can really utilize, this is on product development, the icons for Supered. We have icon definition examples, but this is another cool use case where you can actually utilize the different symbols to really show off, so to say, hey, this property is actually involved in a automation. So the Roadrunners, they obviously have paid clients. They're at the Matt Bullion level of awesome with a little redheaded with a beard, RIP. And because the bolt is there, I actually know that this property is involved in an automation. So while I'm looking at this page and I see this, I can click on it and be like, okay, this property is automatically updated by a workflow and there's no need to update. And this property's whole definition is it's based on how many paying clients the associated company has. Cool. So I know if I'm looking through here, I don't have to touch that because it'll happen automatically. And I am just responsible for whatever process rules are telling me I'm responsible for. So really, these are just two really simple ways that your delivery and implementation team can store their documentation and to help eliminate problems from people touching things. I see lots of chats going on. Deanna, other questions?
There are no questions, just everyone's agreeing with that. Yes, these are things that happen on the regular and you need to solve for them because otherwise it'll compound and make your life a little harder. So why not make it easy?
You know what? And this is even just to make your life easier as a HubSpot partner, right? Because as much as we love our naming conventions, there's still times when I look at a workflow and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I know it's for my PSM team and I know it has something to do with a kickoff call. I have no idea what's actually in this or why I created it. And so to be able to just have that documentation, click on it, be like, oh, cool, fantastic. Okay, speeding through. Okay, let's go back to our use case card. The next thing we have, and this is actually using updates to update for a new client alert for sales. Okay, previous it's done it via handoff notes, via an email, maybe a Slack to say, maybe whatever. There's various ways that you can do it. But Supered allows it to be in your face and have all the information right there. So the way I've set this up, processes and updates, is that I have a new client alert, okay? It's sent by the salesperson itself. We just signed a new client into Supered, who's a CSM. Here's the pain points of why they really sold to us. And here's any discounts that we're doing. So that when I log into my account for the first time, I can say, oh, cool, we have a new client. I'm the new CSM. This can layer on with other handoff notes as well. But the nice thing is there's more information on the company card. I've also taken that company card. And if you had noticed, I have pinned it to the company name. So Medium Rares is our new company. They also have a card, same idea, internal information. It has their key stakeholders and their roles, their customer background. And then I would, as a sales rep, write in all of the handoff note from here to say, hey, here's where their pain was. Here's what their discounting is. Here's all of this. So that anytime that my CS team sees, if they're like, I can't remember if Medium Rares has a discount that we have to discuss or whatever, they can just click on their company card and understand everything that happened in the sales process instead of trying to go search for a pinned note. And they can do all of that. The nice thing is with my update, I can force people to look at that because I can force them to view the card as to complete the update. Using this, gosh, the waiting room is going to stress me out. Using this as a new client handoff is just an extra layer to make sure that you're getting in front of people. You have the card ready to go, and then you can place the card in a place where it's always easily accessible, right? I can see it from here. Previously, really, I could do a pin note, and that's about as close as I could get. Now, anywhere where medium rares is, sorry, that name is just gonna crack me up. Anywhere where I can see the medium rares is attached, I can really quickly see what all of their information was, all of their associations. Yes.
Yeah, question. So if you have it set on their name medium rares, is it only going to show up in HubSpot?
Depends. It's a great question. Medium rares will show up. It will show up anywhere where you have Supered enabled. So to enable Supered on multiple URLs, that would be done in your settings and your extension. So currently, if medium rare shows up on any of these sites, it would pop up there as well. So if you're on LinkedIn and you see them pop up and there's a little arrow, you can, I'll be like, hey, these are one of our clients. Really great for as your client base really starts to grow too. So if you're 150 clients and you're like, I can't memorize who everyone is, if you have that company card and you're looking on something like LinkedIn, you can know, hey, right away, hey, this is actually one of our clients. So engage, say hello.
Found them.
Surround down them.
And so it's two ways. You can show up anywhere, or you could restrict it to a specific page via visibility.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you do want to happen, Deanna. But I would say have them show up everywhere for that exact reason. So you're not trying to prospect into a client account you already have. And you can use it even for like maybe closed lost accounts. Use one of those icons to say, hey, you make up an icon, right? And you can say, hey, this is a closed lost account on LinkedIn. Like, here's everything we discussed before. And you can have that information really ready to go as you're moving throughout. Or even, hey, this, if a potential prospect, hey, here's who is the owner on this. Send them. As you grow, this is a great way to start aligning and making sure that your information is everywhere and someone doesn't have to constantly go back and search for it. That's a really good idea. I just thought about that, Dee. It's a good one. Take note, everyone on this call. This is
how we workshop ideas, guys.
Your LinkedIn is now going to be covered in icons. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I think you're good.
What's been your favorite so far? Drop them in the chat. Whew. Now, marketing. Okay. Dee, do you want to take this one or do you want me to take it?
I want you to take it and I will add in. I think it's great to see if you can follow along my ideas here.
I will try. Okay, brand guidelines. I made that one, so I know what that one's talking about. One of the things to talk about, brand guidelines, brand colors, right? They're one thing that's like constantly needed, and you would never realize why they're constantly needed until you're trying to make a shirt color. And so one of the things I love is I can now come in and type in brand colors and I can see them right there. Oh, you made it so much better. Look how much prettier that is. So really I can go and search and be like, God, I don't know what our pink is. I need it for Canva. I need it to match our logo on an email, like whatever. I've weirdly needed brand colors more than I ever thought I would in my life in the past 9 months than I ever have before. Previously, they were stored in Canva. So I would just go search in Canva, but now they're here. I can come download the logo if I need it really quickly, because we get asked that a lot by partners. And so having just a card with all of this here really streamlines and makes marketing's head not explode being asked for a logo for the 600th. Not to say that you will never be not asked for a logo again, but at least you can minimize that. Leave behinds. Okay. Leave me behind. This is the idea of, and we did it right at the beginning, the idea that you can now create all of this marketing content in Supered and be able to share it as a PDF or as a link. So we open that right away. You got to see our beautiful baby got Slack, which we are anxiously waiting for Slack to respond to. One of our PSMs, Lindsay Smith, managed to get Slack to comment on one of her LinkedIn's, and it was a glorious day for everyone here at Supered. And we responded, and we are anxiously waiting. But the idea that you can leave back your content really wherever. Via partners, you can send it through a package, either with mirrored content or just updating as you go, or sharing it via that link or PDF. The most powerful thing you can do is have your name and branding and your content everywhere. And Supered allows you multiple ways that you can leave that behind. Did I miss anything, Dee?
Nope, you're good. I put in additional examples. The next use case would be a contact card. Actually leave your contact information and share that out. So if you click on the share button, you can get the share link, and instead of having physical business cards, you can actually leave your business card with your contact information. You can put a personalized video in there, and you're able to just physically leave yourself behind anywhere, as well as any other content that you want to share out.
And you know what else you can do? You can make a QR code that leads to the link and put that as, Matt is something.
So I want to add this because this is a big one. I don't we haven't made a big deal about it because I don't want to make a big deal yet, but we will. This is what by every other definition. It's called a word called sales enablement. It's a word that entire platforms have been built on because they do what? You host content and you send that content externally. And so as we think about this, think like this, if you have any content inside, you can now weaponize that content. And essentially, we call cards, but really what are they? Landing pages that you can send that have more information, that can have videos done, that can have maps in it. And like it is like this world is actually really big, especially when you start collecting analytics on who's going to it and de-anonymizing web traffic. I'm gonna sit there for a second. I just want you all to hear it because I don't think anybody's really using it that way yet, mostly because we're not talking about it, period. This is sales enablement and we will build more stuff out for this. But by the way, this is free too. This is like you create a card and it's free. I don't think, period. Okay.
Good point. Very good point. Awesome.
All right. We are cooking with gas, as Lindsay Smith just said. Okay. We have a couple more. I don't know if we'll get to all of them because I think we have like 5 more minutes, Dee?
Yeah, we take a few more minutes. I know we want to get to product updates because there's been some great things, but go ahead and get through another one. I think Medic's a good one.
Medic. I think a couple people on this call have seen this before, but guided selling is really what Superbird was built for and how we can guide everyone through the system that they're working in, give them recommendations, give them best next steps, where they're working while they're working. And so that you can really actually empower your team to be better, right? That's what I think. When you say sales enablement, I say sales empowerment. That was cheesy, but it's true. So as I go through, is everyone on this call familiar with Medic or sales methodology of some sort?
I don't think it matters. Just say yes and go.
Yeah, it's a sales methodology. Okay. And so when we're looking through, I got to go to my deals. I'm actually working on a sale here inside Super Dupered we're working on a sale. Okay. So with the idea of Medic, right? It's the idea that it's a sales methodology, right? The more information that we can gather about our prospect in these certain categories, the more we can understand where their pain points are, the higher chance we have to close them. And so with process rules, we're really able to give multiple levels of information and content, best next steps, okay? At a very basic level, we can say, hey, you're missing this information, right? Data validation. Currently, there's not a way for HubSpot to do that unless you're changing deal stages or ticket stages. And when people are forced to do it in that moment, it tends to come with inaccurate data. I'll just say that very nicely. If you're HubSpot admin, if you partner that you tend to have, most likely the first answer is the most popular answer, even if it's not correct. And that can be super dangerous, right? Because you're making all of these decisions based on the data that you're putting in to the CRM. And so you want to make sure that it's correct. So the very basic, we can use process rules to really get the data that we need while the sales rep is working through that deal stage, okay? They're going to be in this deal stage for a while. So having that information be like, we need all of this before we move on is really going to make your sales reps' lives easier. And it'll make your HubSpot admin, HubSpot partners more happy. You'll make your CEO happy because they're getting correct data finally, and all around good fun and spirit. Okay. So where this guided selling really comes in is the ability to actually serve that micro learning content. Okay. So who is our competition on this deal? Like it's empty, right? If you have no idea what competition is, you can click on more information and we can serve you content. That's a definition of competition. Okay. So if you're like, I just don't know what this property field is, I don't know what they want from me, you can serve that right away and just say, hey, this is what it is. Here's how you fill it out. I've actually taken it a step further because I realized as your HubSpot admin or your sales manager that if competition is empty, it's probably because you don't know how to ask it. Okay. So I've actually embedded a card of content here that's saying, hey, your goal with competition is to be able to be ready to communicate what sets Superbird, what sets, HubSpot, what sets all of us apart from the competition. Since it's not filled out, I'm assuming you just know how to ask the questions that will get us to the answer that we need. So here's a list of discovery questions that you can utilize either in an email, on your call, like your next face-to-face meeting, so that you can really dive into the points and get the answer that we need that will help us position ourselves correctly, okay? So there's that micro learning content and really, again, enabling them with next best steps. If your sales rep is just, I know who our competition is, it doesn't matter. It's XYZ portal applicator, cool, save. I've now cleared those out and I can actually serve a competitor battle card that is specific to XYZ portal applicator, okay? So now we're starting to go down a line. We're starting to get more granular, more specific all the way through and serving the content exactly when they need it, Because you're like, cool, XYZ portal replicator. Okay, here's your battle card. Here's how we win against them. Here's their pricing. Here's where their downfalls are. Here's how we've won them in the past. Here's how we've lost against them in the past. And you can start to serve all that really critical information as your sales rep needs it, as they're preparing for the next call. Okay. And that is guided selling. Clear these all out because I don't like having warnings, and we're good to go. Okay. Questions on that?
Awesome. Love it. Caleb confessed that he nearly always used to choose the first required field when progressing a deal stage because he didn't think it was important. So now being able to surface that really gives them the ability to remove that resistance. So
unfortunately, Caleb, you are not alone.
Unfortunately.
At a previous company, I worked with 55 sales reps, and out of 55, all 52 of them would put the first answer, which again is not the greatest when you're making money decisions off of that information.
Fair statement.
Fantastic. I'm going to stop sharing.
Awesome. I love it. We do have other options. As Lindsay said, we'll share out these as part of Supered Solutions, and you can start implementing some of them yourself and implement others and use them as a springboard to create the ideas that will take your business just to its next level. I am going to give Matt the floor and let him share some of those new super duper feature updates. Thank you, Lindsay. All you, Matt. What is new in the world of Supered?
Yeah, I hope if you see these use cases, what did we not show? Like, I think what we didn't show is more powerful than what we do show often. When you show what we use internally is what things that help us do our jobs every single day, specifically things we can create very quickly. When we think about us moving, and the word moving here is we define as a delivery operating system, is the best use of Supered and the people that get the most traction that we've seen now with 100+ clients is people who use it for brand colors, people who use it for common questions. And when you write any piece of documentation and you don't create a card for it, you're likely leaving the ability to create impact in a customer on the table. And there's opportunity cost for that, whether they churn in the future or like you are increasing, it's the exceptional service. So we are committed for that use case and making that and decreasing friction. So what I'm going to show you is like how we're thinking through that and how we're building with that vision. Before I go, one of the things I said is sales enablement. They're actually, I use that word very specifically. There are 5 categories of tools that try to fix this problem, all poorly because they aren't working from the premise of never leaving the place you are. Tools number 1 are work instructions only. These are scribe hows, tangos, flows. These are people who just do documentation that make it really easy to create documentation and give it, but they're not they don't have a knowledge base. Number 2 is knowledge bases, but what do? They force you to go to a different location. Number 3, LMSs. What do? They force you to go to another location. Number 4, sales enablement platforms. Like Sendoso. What do they make you do? They make you like go somewhere else to get stuff. And there's all these different things that we're doing in one place. And you're going to start to see like this power and momentum. If you don't see it now, you will see it in the future. If you don't see it now, please send me a DM and tell me why, because if you don't see that, I am failing. Okay, so let's go to this product updates and how we're making momentum, how we're making steps in that direction. As always, know that you can communicate with me at any point and tell me you don't like something or you do something, and you can directly affect the product. Number 1, what has happened? I think it's important. What have we done? As we think about this future, one of the things we had to do was we had to change how the Chrome extension worked. Why do we have to change how the Chrome extension worked? Because it did not work well for white labeling, which we'll show. Number 2, it did not work for LMS. And number 3, it did not work for work instructions or maps. So as we build out maps, we build out LMS, we had to do it. What's that change and what is it? If I now click, if I click Supered, you notice it no longer takes any of the page. It doesn't take any of the page. It doesn't go over content anymore. It is now something called a panel, and it sits on this panel. That's number 1. Number 2 is if you look at the top, it says Sidekick, and we rebranded the entire app to no longer say Supered. It says Sidekick. Why? Because people who white label it, we are specifically getting rid of any mention of Supered, so you can do what? Have your own app and your delivery operating platform. There is nobody does this. Like this is built for who? For partners. Everyone else says I don't know how to say it. Actions speak louder than words. Hopefully you see actions here. I can only say so many words. So we have that. What else this does? If I now have a map and I go to my maps and we have them, I don't even know. Here's how to make a battle card. If I get started and I click this button, what didn't change? The map didn't change. You can now follow along and actually click what you're supposed to click with without this ever changing, even if you change pages. So if I change pages, what doesn't change here? So this makes maps, they would restart and they would get like this. This has to work this way. It's a big darn upgrade. So Sidekick extension, you can now in maps, if you're looking at, you can do what from here? And you're going to see this is another big change we're making. You have to be able to create documentation in the moment you exist, not just customers able to access, admins must be able to create it where they are. So here's a first step. And hopefully you see this is edit maps. You can edit maps without ever going into the back end. And you can come and you can edit the steps. You can delete the steps. You can move the steps back and forth. This ability to do via the Chrome extension will not decrease, it will increase. And I'll talk about some of the future developments that come with that. So you can live in the Chrome extension and not have to go to the back end as often. We talked about sharing directly from Superd. That's like shares. So you can now turn PDFs and turn links. We have had more end user deals just come to us, either sold via partners or come to us. And the thing they had to have, I know it sounds stupid, they had to have the ability to export a PDF. We now have it. So I can take any card. Here's a Surge product card. I can export this, or I could share and make this entire thing accessible, like we already showed directly. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Copy link. It is what is this? This is a CMS landing page that I've turned into our product updates. We should probably, by the way, we should probably just have this and actually keep this to give to people. Yeah. So just a point that we can have. That's all right here, right? Every product we've gone through. And if I go to I have so many downloads. Well, it's just one good. If I go to my downloads, what is this? This is, I don't even know how that happened. It's our Surge created by me. And what is this? This is a PDF of everything we have. That's pretty darn cool. So you can now send those. What will be changing it? Like, again, everything from the Chrome extension. Wouldn't it be cool if you could just take a card and be able to have card and be able to share externally? Yes, it would be cool. And yes, we are going to do that. Okay, I'm going to keep going. You know what? I'm going to brief from my landing page because that's better and easier for me now. We have now maps can be mirrored and put into Package Builder. So it gives you the ability to scale as you build these. If you have a map that you like, you can put that in. Card clones and collection, just making it easier for you in the Package Builder to be able to, again, scale as you build more and more. I want to say this as loud as I possibly can. Package Builders are freaking amazing. It is also, in my opinion, the biggest distraction for clients because it's too sexy. It's like too pretty. Stop looking. We just got to stop looking at the way you make impacts are via delivering documentation. And as you build that out, you'll then be able to connect that to Package Builders. And so it just you're going to be in different maturities. And our best clients don't just use Package Builder. They all use cards plus Package Builder. White labels. This came out. No one even knows it came out. So let me show you what it is. This is part of the white label. I don't think we have. Are we a white label partner? We're about to find out.
I think so.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Actually, yes, I know we are because I tested it.
Okay, so guys, we said here's another thing. We are partners. We just Steve could have built a lot of other stuff. But instead, we had him build something out so you can send branded emails. So if you have, I'm going to go to now have this emails where any app has what? When you sign up for something, you get an email. Hey, welcome. Here's your thing. Or you have to, hey, here's my I forgot my email. Here it is. You can load these email previews. And you can see the subject line and you can be able to change every one of those, the email confirmation, the invites, and the reset passwords. And if you are a white label partner, you have access to this and it's easy as changing. If I go to edit and I change email theme, and I'm going to change this email theme to boom. And I'm going to go into system name. This is called Super Duper Ubered. And I save this and I set it active. So we talk about the Sidekick. You can rename Superd when they do it. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to reload this email. What I do, I change the accent. You can change all these. You can change all the logos. And I just changed the name of this to Super Duper Ubered. So you can actually change the name of your system and begin to own it. And we are just going further and further until you have a system that you are delivering that is you. And that's where we're going. Pretty cool. Okay, I'm going back to my white label. Solutions. We're going to continue to put out solutions library. And I don't know when to do it. I might just make a random date, which is we will be having applications for you to put your solutions in this library and added to it. And well, there'll be a competition that comes with it. Where you can have your own solutions that you can have loaded that can be lead magnets for you that you can send people to, but potentially even use in your sales engagements or with your PDMs. You think about how do you do sales. So we'll be putting those there. There's some cool ones here, and you will go through these, and a lot of these we already covered. We'll be adding another one. I didn't save like I've done. Let me see what happens if I refresh this. How cool is that? It updated. I didn't just see that. I made a change on my card, and I just refreshed this and automatically did it because that's cool. Here's upcoming stuff we talked about. Cards, triggers from Chrome extensions. That is coming. Now I'd say these are within like 4-ish. I'm not making time commitments, but just know like the things we're thinking about next are things like this. Creating cards and triggers from Chrome extension. So you create a workflow, and instead of having to go to the back end and then connect it and then trigger it, what if you can just highlight, create a card with the name of that highlight, it has the trigger already, write the documentation, boom, done. That's cool. That's coming. Editing, there shouldn't be cards, but editing maps with actual images. So image editing is like about to be finished. I call that one this week to early next week, with the ability to save zooms, be able to do blackouts. And we now have built the engine that allows us to have quick follows if needed, to do text fields and arrows pointing. And so you'll be able to take these images and make them even more specific to who you've created to. And app guidance. We are tackling this and thinking about it. What is this? So you think you made a map, but the map's an image. What if your map and the image also correlated to a like pink box that told you exactly where to click on the screen? And click here. That is in-app guidance. So you can literally create guides or telling you should be able to click. So we're thinking like next, business units. We've just had a lot. We've had requests for business units and packages that is going to be built and coming. So you can start doing business units as part of your packages. It'll help you create forms and other stuff. And then part of this is there's a lot of dependencies to get LMS done. And we're launching a 9 out of 10 when you do the LMS. So things like, hey, you have to be able to send notifications. Hey, we need, when the LMS comes, you are now assigning people tasks, and and there's a whole engine and system. This is no longer a passive tool. This is a very you're now controlling people. Once we get the LMS in, assigning, having reviews of things. So we're just moving that to July because there's just a lot of stuff we have to build. Like the ability to create things from the Chrome extensions, actually a dependency of the LMS. The ability to have in-app guidance is very coherent with LMS, because maps go into journeys and will be part of the LMS. So when you just know we're marching towards that, it's a big giant. The vision is big and giant, and we're marching towards it. Okay, it looks like we have some stuff we'll showing most. We have our super duper updates. We'll share this link and we'll add everything here. I like having this. Dan, it was a good idea. I'll open the floor. Any questions, thoughts? Dana, you're feeling those.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too many questions other than you're reading people's minds with the features updates that are coming out, which is great to hear. That means we hear you when you're talking in Super Jam, when you're mentioning us on LinkedIn. We listen when you're in Intercom talking to our dev team. You're heard. So keep those ideas coming, and I'd love to hear what you're using things for, because that gives us the ability to think through them as well. So keep them coming. Any final
things? Yeah, just things people I know are asking for reading minds. So you just know we're not like, can we change subdomains? Yes, we're thinking about subdomains. Okay, on the Super Chrome extension, when I actually go, oh crap, that's all our revenue with everybody. Okay, change it fast enough. Woo. If I go to the Steve was about to have if I go to Super Chrome extension, I'm not going to find it. Why? Because it's called the Sidekick. Okay, but if I go to the Sidekick Chrome extension, gosh, there's so many Chrome extensions called Sidekick. That's the exact point, by the way. That's the exact point. I'm going to do this one. Yeah. The exact point. So these things, what do you still see is like we haven't fully desanitized. This would be something we're going to quickly like supered. It won't say, we're going to literally take out our brand from this. And there's a cost to this for us. There's a very scared. Are we really going to bet that hard on HubSpot partners? Yes. People tell we're crazy. And I just want to say, we know that. So when I say bet that hard is, please, if you have what you want, we are making a bet on you. So tell me what you want so I can, because the bet is you. And if you don't get what you want, I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's your fault if you're not telling me, because I will build what you want in a sense. So give me so that we can execute against it. And I'm very keen to understanding.
Absolutely.
Okay, everybody, that is done. Official.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lindsay, for walking us through all those updates or to all those use cases, and Matt's for walking through all those updates. As he said, I will share out the link to those super feature updates and the upcoming events. We've got Supered and Friends coming up with Coefficient. I will make sure you get that, as well as the recording from this event. Thanks everybody for joining us, and I will see you next week. Oh, Matt's got something.
We just casually mentioned it. I just want to casually make sure I say it. We are launching a whole nother series. We're doing Surge right now, but the issue is we have a lot of partnerships that want to talk about things I like or want to use. So we have Supered and Friends that's coming out. So if you have an app that you like using that you want to bring, so hey, we want PandaDocs, or we want DocuSign, or we want whatever it is, Supered and Friends is a great place to show, like, we're doing other apps in the ecosystem and highlighting them. And it's not about Supered, it's about how to use these things that we think are really cool. So if you have an idea, send it our way.
Absolutely.
There we go. That's it.
Non-casual link in the chat for you as well. Awesome. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. Can't wait to see all those use cases come in. That was awesome, Supered Squad. I am so excited to see how you take those use cases and apply them to your organization. Stay awesome, stay supered, and I'll see you at the next Surge.